Legend of Mac Mclung, the SINC and NSF Conference, and our very first Sports Biz guest. We're going to talk about that and so much more on today's Sports Biz Show. I'm your host here, Amir Zonozi, co-founder and president of Zoomph. If you haven't heard of Mac Mclung from his days in overtime, I'm willing to bet you heard of him over this past weekend. The man came to play. He moved from the G League to the 76ers, signed with Puma, and won the NBA All-Star AT&T Slam Dunk Contest all within the last week. We took a look at the numbers. Twitter exploded. 40,000 tweets, 340 million impressions, about 2.5 million engagements, and almost $8 million in social value generated. With his social following passing over 1 million on Instagram this past weekend. It's going to be super exciting to see what's next for this young man. We're going to be trying some new things with the show. We've had some people reach out to be a guest. It only felt right that the very first guest is going to be our senior data analyst here at Zoomph, Geoff Blosat. Now, we just did a hell of an NFL report. He joined Sports Atlas for a webinar talking about this NFL data. I go and interview Geoff to hear a little bit more about tips and trends. Geoff Blosat, senior data analyst here at Zoomph, good friend. I'm so excited to have you.
First off, Amir, thank you so much for having me on. What a script to the NFL season, if I say so myself. When it comes to the content trends, I think we're continuing to see expansion of the influence of TikTok, not just on that platform itself, but crossed over into other platforms. YouTube Shorts are the top content style on YouTube for teens on average. You're seeing content media that would normally play well on TikTok also play well on platforms like Twitter, obviously on Instagram, and even on Facebook. So it'll be interesting to see that expand going into the future season, as well as the monetization aspect of TikTok and the integration of potential future sponsored content on TikTok down the road, which then leads into that second point when we're looking at the trends in sponsored posts. And the biggest focus is on the expansion of new industries into the space. Companies working on NFT capabilities and blockchain capabilities, sports books, normally DFS sites now expanding their sports book properties into that sponsored realm. Brands like Amazon expanding their reach with their level of increased involvement in the NFL. So it's very interesting to see all the different activations across the NFL this past season.
TikTok currently in the NFL, you can't sponsor on TikTok.
Yeah, with TikTok right now, normally when it comes to the NFL, it's usually a league-wide policy, where right now on TikTok, the only value that brands can accrue is from that arbitrary logo capture, whether it be on media backdrops or practice jerseys or in stadium signage, captured in video form. That's the only way brands can gather value right now on NFL TikTok content. So I'm sure during this off season, the league will come up with an idea and a strategy about how to monetize there in the platform, starting at the league level and then working its way down to the individual clubs.
Now, if you're a team or a brand watching, what advice do you have for them?
When looking at data across the season, I think there are a couple of different things to assess. So number one, when it comes to teams looking at their own individual content, trust your social media teams. These platforms move fast, trends move fast. Just looking at Adam Mosseri's updates and regular updates on Instagram and differences in his changes in content strategy where, okay, we're going to go all in on Reels to now, okay, we're going to take a step back, and you don't want them to have to necessarily jump through every single hoop possible to get stuff approved. Trust them to execute. And then when it comes to that integration between teams and brands in that sponsored content, it needs to be a two-way street. Teams need to do what's best for them, and brands need to understand what kind of activations work best in their world, understanding alignment. One example is Align Technology and Invisalign. They sponsor a lot of happy birthday posts across a number of teams across the NFL. When you think of a happy birthday, what are you doing? You're happy and you're smiling. You want to focus on that smile. There's a big emphasis and update in that plan there and that strategy. You can tell it was really thought out. Making sure to have that mindset going into things is going to be very, very important.
Geoff, thanks for hopping on the show. Those were really valuable insights, and we're constantly pumping out data like this on the Zoomph handles. These next few weeks, I'm going to be at the SINC Conference speaking about sports biz analytics and insights around partnerships and sponsorships. I'm also going to go to the National Sports Forum out in LA. I'm going to be a guest judge over at the Case Cup focused on NIL. If you're going to be at either of those, definitely let me know. Following that, you're going to see me at the MIT SLOAN Conference. I like to call it Nerd Coachella, but it's going to be a ton of fun. If you're going to be at either one of those, definitely let me know. Speaking of comments, shout out to Sterling Randall, Jessica David, and Bryson Shanklin. You want to get a shout out? Comment below. Zonozi out.